We are going to discuss circular motion in detail today. Of course, we are dealing with motion in plane. It means motion in 2 dimensions. We are dealing with. So we have to discuss about the circular motion today. And of course, it means I want to make a body along the circular path this way. Or I can move the circle like this also. So what it is, if I want to study the circular motion, I can have a uniform circular motion, I can have a non-uniform circular motion with me. Uniform circular motion, it means the speed is constant. So most of the time we take the horizontal circle. If I am having a stone tied with a thread and I move it along this path, horizontal circle, that is taken as the uniform circular motion. So if a body is made to move in such a way, like your of your cloth, they are also moving in a uniform circular motion because they are having the constant speed. Speed is constant, v with which you are making it, but of course velocity will be changing. So acceleration will be there, and that acceleration we call it as the centripetal acceleration. But yes, if we speak about the angular velocity, that will be constant. Angular acceleration alpha will be 0. But for non-uniform circular motion, speed is not constant. It means even it will be accelerating, it will have some tangential acceleration as well as centripetal acceleration. So total angular acceleration of course is not 0. And omega is of course not constant. So we have to deal with all these terms, omega, alpha, and all these things in detail today about the circular motion. Of course, when we are talking about the uniform circular motion, the only force which is acting is the centripetal force, and that acts in a direction of the centripetal acceleration, and that due to that the body is able to move along the circular path. But when non-circular motion is there, non-uniform circular motion is there, in non-uniform circular motion, there are additional forces also along with the centripetal force, and due to this, it is having some tangential acceleration also. Here in uniform circular motion, there is no tangential acceleration, tangential velocity, linear velocity always acts along the tangent, but there is no tangential acceleration. So that should be kept in your mind. We will be of course dealing in more detail. Your syllabus, they have specially mentioned uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion, it means I want to make a body to move in along the circular path, me having the speed constant. Speed is constant along the circular path, then it is uniform circular motion. As I have said, we may take the horizontal circular motion also under this heading. So this is a diagram to show you the circular motion to make your things more clear. Like if I'm making a particle to move from P to P dash. Along the circular path, I'm taking small r as the radius of the circle, and linear velocity v, magnitude is of course constant. But if at this point I want to draw the direction of the speed, that is along the tangent this way. If I want to draw at P dash point, it is again along the tangent as shown in the diagram. So direction of the velocity is changing. So velocity is not constant, speed is constant because the direction is changing, and so I will say velocity is a vector quantity, so it is changing. And because of the change in the linear velocity, acceleration is caused, and that acceleration always will act towards the center of the circle, and we call it as the centripetal acceleration. But when I have the non-uniform circular motion, then even speed is not constant. So speed is changing, it means magnitude of the velocity as well as direction is already changing, but magnitude also changes. It means speed increases or decreases, slowing down, or you may say speeding up while moving along the circular path, then it will be non-uniform circular motion. So this is just to differentiate, and of course we have to go in more detail of the uniform circular motion today as per your syllabus. So few terms we should know when we are dealing with the circular motion. Few terms should be clear with us. First term with you is angular displacement. What is angular displacement? That is, if I'm making a body to move along the circular path, like I'm making from P to P dash, I may move from this A point to B point. Any 2 points can be taken along the circular path where I want to make the body to move. So what it is that when I'm making the body to move along the circular path, then the angular displacement means the angle which is turned by the particle at the center of the circle, that is termed as angular displacement. And this is denoted by simply theta, or you may call it as delta theta. And this we know that angle turned, that is equals to arc upon radius. So by the definition, you can write angular displacement is the angle turned at the center when the particle is moving along the circular path from one point to another point. That is your angular displacement. And the unit for the angular displacement is radian. Your theta is 1 radian. When arc, it becomes equals to radius in magnitude. Then we call that the angle turned at the center is 1 radian. And of course, being length upon length, it is a dimensionless quantity, you may say. And if I talk about the angular velocity, then angular velocity, it is defined as the rate of change of angular displacement. So it is denoted by omega. Omega is the symbol, which is, if I want to talk about the instantaneous angular velocity, then I may write it like this, that limit delta t tends to 0, delta theta upon delta t, rate of change of angular displacement. So angle is measured in radian, time in seconds, so units will be radian per second. And dimensional formula, if you want to write, that will be m0 L0 t minus 1. So all these terms should be clear to you, then only you will be able to understand in more detail about the things. Next term with you is angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, as we have done with linear acceleration, is rate of change of linear velocity. Similarly, angular acceleration, it is defined as the time rate of change of angular velocity. It is denoted by alpha, and alpha, it is equals to d omega by dt. So alpha you can write, it is equals to d omega by dt, and unit will be of course radian per second square. And if you want to write the dimensional formula, it will be m0 L0 t minus 2. So for these terms, you should be able to write the units as well as the dimensions. So whenever used in some other question, you should be able to apply these dimensional formula over there. Next definition with you is for time period. Time period, it is simply the time taken to complete one revolution along the circular path, and of course it is measured in second. Frequency, next term, it is defined as the number of revolutions completed in unit time. So it is equals to 1 upon t, reciprocal of time period. It can be denoted by n, f or nu, depending upon, like here I have taken it as nu. So these three are the symbols for frequency, and different symbols are used in different questions. You should be able to make it out. Unit is hertz, which is of course second inverse. So the dimensional formula will be m0 L0 t minus 1. If you want to write the relation between the angular velocity and frequency, then you see when I am making a circle body to move along this complete circular path, then what happens? This is a circular path. Then at the center, what is the angle turned? Angle turned at the center will be equals to 360 degree. 360 means 2 pi. So we can write omega is distance, angular displacement upon time. So angle turned is 2 pi when the time taken is capital T, time period. So I can write omega, it is equals to 2 pi by capital T, which is equals to 2 pi nu. So this formula we use many times in solving the questions. So all these terms should be clear to you all people, so that we can move ahead. Now we have learned these two terms. Linear velocity is, which is the velocity along a line. This is at this point, this is the linear velocity which is acting along the tangent. And angular velocity, what is the angular velocity? If I want to find the direction of the angular velocity, that should be also clear to you. So what it is, when the particle is moving along the circular path, like particle is moving in the clockwise direction, then the direction of the angular velocity will be, you have to use your right hand rule. So if I am making the body to move in this direction, this is of course anti-clockwise direction. If I want to make the body to move along the anti-clockwise direction, then my thumb is pointing in the upward direction. So this is giving me the direction of angular velocity. If the body is moving in the clockwise direction, then thumb is pointing downward. It means angular velocity is acting in the downward direction. But of course, it always acts along the axis of rotation. That should be clear to you. Theta is either clockwise, when you move from P to P dash, this is anti-clockwise movement. If you move from P dash to P, theta turn will be in the clockwise direction. So finding firstly the direction of theta, from which point to which point you are moving, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, you can find the direction of omega, which is of course perpendicular to the plane containing r and v, linear velocity, radius vector and linear velocity. That should be of course known to you. When we have to find mathematically the relation between the two, we will of course go by the definition. If I write the linear velocity, this is rate of change of linear displacement. Linear displacement means delta s upon delta t. But here if you see in this diagram, what is the linear displacement? Linear displacement is your P dash, or this arc you can say. If because I am moving through a very small distance, then this arc will be equals to this length and can be taken as the linear displacement. And by the definition of delta theta is arc upon radius. So arc will be yours equals to radius into delta theta. So this is the value for the linear displacement. I can put this value here in this relation. Then I will be getting this linear velocity is limit delta t tends to 0 r delta theta by delta t. But delta theta by delta t is omega. Of course, we are talking about instantaneous velocity, instantaneous because at any particular instant we are talking. So this delta theta by delta t is omega. So the relation which is coming with me is v equals to r. If I want to write in terms of their magnitudes, then v it is equals to r omega. But if I want to write in terms of the cross product of these vectors, then it is written as omega cross r. So you can verify this thing, you can find the direction of linear velocity by using this relation. Like I've said that omega is either up or down. So if my particle is moving in the anti-clockwise direction, the direction of omega is up. Now if I keep this angular velocity, I'm using the right hand rule. This is if I'm taking one as a linear velocity, one as a radius, then what will happen that this will give me the direction of your v vector, which is linear velocity. This is up is the angular velocity. This is the radius. If I take, then this thumb will give me the value for the linear velocity, which is perpendicular to the plane consisting of omega and r. So linear velocity is, by using the knowledge of cross product of vectors, I can say it is perpendicular to the plane consisting of omega and r. So directions are very important in this circular motion. So when you are able to find the direction, it means you are perfect. So right hand rule which we have done for the cross product of vectors should be clear to you at this step. Moving ahead. If you want to write the relation between the linear and angular acceleration on the same terms, you can write acceleration is rate of change of linear velocity, and v we have seen it is coming r delta omega. So delta omega by delta t is angular acceleration alpha. So I can write a it is equals to r alpha. Here a it is equals to r alpha. Your linear acceleration it is equals to r into alpha. So if you want to write in terms of the cross product, again it is given by alpha cross r. And of course the direction of alpha will be given by the omega, and r is same way. So tangential, this will actually give you the tangential acceleration, that is the linear acceleration. Acceleration in uniform circular motion, when we want to find, as when the body is moving from P to P dash, time, if I take go on reducing, I take the directions, I go on reducing this path, then what will happen, I can find the direction of this delta V. For that you have to make a triangle which is a similar triangle, like from, this is the direction of velocity at P point. So this is the direction of velocity at P point. This is the extended V dash, which is the velocity at P dash point. Then by using the triangle law, this is giving me V plus delta V, it is equals to V dash. These both are in the same order. This will be giving me the resultant of this triangle. So from here you can find delta V is V dash minus V, which is rate of change of your linear velocity. And this is your delta theta, same, because these both are forming the similar triangles. And r, if you see, radius vector is perpendicular to v vector. So what it is, the direction, if I want to see for the acceleration which will be acting, that is towards the direction of delta v, that is the direction of your centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration is always acting towards the radius. So this is given by the direction of rate of change of velocity. So if you are taking any other 2 points, again you can see that this direction is coming out to be same. That direction of the acceleration is always towards the center. So of course, if a question is coming that whether the uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion, then of course it is yes. And the acceleration is the centripetal acceleration, because it is center seeking acceleration, it acts towards the center. And if it comes, how to find the direction, that is given by the direction of delta v. And because it is becoming perpendicular to v vector, so it is always acting towards the radius at different points when you see. So if I take the velocity here, this is radius, this towards the center, this is radius vector again towards the center. And if you want to find the magnitude for the centripetal acceleration, then you have to take this mathematics. You have to take these both similar triangles, and from these similar triangles you can write that this AB upon PP dash, these are working the same way, and which is equals to PA, yours here it is PA divided by OP. Or simply you can write PP dash upon OP, it is equals to AB divided by PA. Whatever way you can write. And then if you put the values for AB, it is equals to delta V, PP dash, it is equals to delta R. By again using the triangle law, this is R, this is R dash, so this will be the linear displacement here, delta R, which is equals to V divided by R. And if you rewrite it, we are getting delta V, it is equals to V upon R into delta R. Now acceleration is rate of change of velocity, so you have to divide it by the time, delta t. So this acceleration you are getting limit delta t tends to 0, which is equals to V upon R into R upon t. This R upon t is the linear velocity itself. So I will be getting this V into V. So I am getting the magnitude for the centripetal acceleration is V square upon R. And direction is always towards the center, we have discussed. And the magnitude is V square by R, where V is the linear velocity, R is the radius of the circle. But of course we have done V equals to R omega. So I can rewrite it V equals to R omega. If I put the value here, then I am getting centripetal acceleration can also be written as omega square R. Or we can write it in terms of omega into V also. That also different terms you can use to write the centripetal acceleration. If I want to write the centripetal acceleration in terms of frequency, because we have discussed omega, it is equals to 2 pi nu. So if I put the value of omega 2 pi nu, then I will be getting this result, which is 4 pi square nu square r. That is the magnitude of centripetal acceleration. So this should be clear to you. Writing the magnitude as well as direction of centripetal acceleration is very, very important. Now just to revise the directions of r vector, v vector, omega is always along the axis, theta is clockwise or anti-clockwise, here it is anti-clockwise, and centripetal acceleration is towards the center of the circle. So directions, you should always keep it in your mind. Now, if I talk about the non-uniform circular motion, then what happens? There is acceleration along this direction of the tangent, that is tangential acceleration, and centripetal acceleration is also there. So resultant acceleration will be given by using the parallelogram law of vector by the diagonal of these two. AC square we have already done, that is v square upon r, and tangential acceleration is rate of change of linear velocity, which is equals to r alpha. So you can always put the values here, and if direction is asked in the question, you can find by using this formula tan beta. If I take this angle as beta, then it will be given by AT upon AC. This, if you want to verify further to find the value of AC and AT, that your acceleration result, this is dependent upon tangential and centripetal acceleration, that you can always do it with the help of derivative. Use this formula that V, it is equals to omega cross R. And if I differentiate with respect to time, then dV by dt, it is equals to first as it is, omega as it is, derivative of second, it means dr by dt, plus derivative of second d omega by dt v, and d omega by dt is angular velocity alpha. So if I write, I am getting this is the acceleration, which is the resultant acceleration, is coming out to be equals to omega cross v plus alpha cross r. This alpha cross r is the tangential acceleration, and this omega cross v, if you put the value of omega or v, if you are putting v equals to r omega, then this is giving me the magnitude omega square r. So this is the same magnitude omega square r or v square upon r. So this can be written in vector form like this, omega cross v, that is giving me the centripetal acceleration. So it means my resultant acceleration is sum of the linear of this tangential acceleration and centripetal acceleration. So when this tangential acceleration is 0, tangential acceleration is 0, then the body is having the uniform circular motion. But if there is some tangential acceleration is existing, then it means the body is having the non-uniform circular motion. You can see simple question. First question I have taken for you, that is a body of mass 0.4 kilogram is rolled in a horizontal circle of radius 2 meter with a constant speed of 10 meter per second. Calculate its angular speed, angular acceleration, time period, and centripetal acceleration. So in the question it is given, the mass is given 0.4 kg, radius is also given 2 meter. This velocity, speed, magnitude, instant, which is given 10 meter per second. So angular speed you can find by using the relation omega, it is equals to v upon r, which is equals to 10 by 2. So it is coming out to be 5 radian per second. And alpha, which is d omega by dt, when omega is constant, so derivative of the constant is 0. So it means there is no angular acceleration when the speed is constant. And time period, that is equals to 1 upon the frequency. Frequency is given in the question? No, it is not given, but you have calculated omega, and we know omega, it is equals to 2 pi nu. So if I know omega, So I can find nu, which is equals to omega upon 2 pi. Omega we have calculated 5, so it is 5 upon 2 pi hertz. And time period can be calculated. It means that will be equals to 1 upon nu, which is equals to 2 pi upon 5 seconds. Similarly, you can find the centripetal acceleration by simply using the formula. Any one of these two formulas you can use. Either you can use v square upon r, or you can use omega square r. Both the ways you will be getting the same result. So this you can always verify. Moving to the last question. Particle is moving in a circle of radius 0.4 meter at the instant when its angular velocity is 2 radian per second and angular acceleration is 5 radian per second. You have to calculate the total acceleration when it is having this as the angular velocity, and angular acceleration is also given. So r is given 0.4 meter, omega is given 2 radian per second, alpha is given 5 radian per second square. Tangential acceleration you can calculate, that is equals to r alpha. By putting the value of r and alpha, you are getting 0.4 into 5, that is 2 meter per second square. You can find the centripetal acceleration, which is equals to r omega square, which is coming out to be 0.4 into 2 whole square. It is equals to 1.6 meter per second square. So total linear acceleration will be given by square root of AT square plus AC square. So you have to put the value of AC and AT, and you can get this result is coming out to be 2.6 meter per second square. And if you are again the same diagram which we are taking all the times, beta you are taking the angle with AC, then tan beta can be written as AT upon AC. So you can get the value 5 upon 4, or you can write beta, it is equals to tan inverse 5 upon 4. So this way, when the question is trying to find the total linear acceleration of a particle, you can always calculate the things. Thank you everyone.